I have, oh, wow, okay. Did we upgrade the speakers? Good evening, everyone. I have 6:31 p.m., so I'm going to call this meeting of the June 22nd, or this June 22nd meeting of the Council of the City of Lancaster to order. Welcome back, and thank you for coming to attend our first in-person meeting in over a year. If those who are willing would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. Harris, would you please call the roll of members?
Yes, Mr. President. Mr. Arroyo.
Here.
Ms. Beke. Ms. Craig.
Here.
Ms. Diaz. Mr. Garcia Molina.
Here.
Mr. Soto.
Here.
And President Smith-Waddell.
Here. Councilor Beke is excused. We have the approval of the minutes for the June 8th, 2021 meeting of council. I'll hear a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Council comments on the minutes. Forgive us, y'all. Hearing none, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Arroyo.
Aye.
Ms. Beke. Sorry. Ms. Craig.
Aye.
Ms. Diaz.
Aye.
Mr. Garcia Molina.
Aye.
Mr. Soto.
Aye.
And President Smith-Waddell.
Aye. Thank you. That moves us to heading 5, proclamations, honors, awards, and resolutions of recognition. Do we have any, Mr. Harris?
We do, Mr. President. Council Resolution number 33.
All right. Council Resolution number 33, recognizing June 2021 as National Healthy Homes Month. Mr. Harris.
A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster recognizing June 2021 as National Healthy Homes Month in the City of Lancaster and recognizing the programs and services the city provides to address health hazards within city homes.
Motion to approve? Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second on the resolution. Is there someone from the administration to present on this, or Councilor Craig?
I'll briefly just make a few comments that this is part of recognizing the lead hazard control program and the work that we are doing in 4 census tracts south of King Street. Those funds are predominantly through HUD to remediate homes, both for lead hazards, but also through for other issues as part of the Healthy Homes program that's part of that. So between lead and Healthy Homes, we are addressing issues related to radon and mold and issues related to access, safe access into homes, as well as lead and lead remediation. And so we appreciate this, and we have a really dedicated team of individuals. We've just hired our second outreach worker, and they are very busy identifying and working with families to jumpstart, restart after a delay with COVID. And I would just strongly encourage all of council and everybody here tonight and listening, if you know of families in the 4 census tracts that have been identified, basically south of King, to please connect them with this program. It's an awesome opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Are there any council comments on the resolution? Any comments from the public? Hearing none, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Arroyo.
Aye.
Ms. Craig.
Aye.
Ms. Diaz.
Aye.
Mr. Garcia Molina.
Aye.
Mr. Soto.
Aye.
And President Smith-Waddell.
Aye. Thank you. That brings us to Council Resolution number 34, 2021. Mr. Harris.
A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster recognizing June 2021 as Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, Queer, Intersex, and Asexual Pride Month in the City of Lancaster, and encouraging all people to work to advance the cause of equality and towards achieving a safe community that appreciates its diversity in all its forms for generations to come.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second on the resolution. We've done a resolution like this for the past several years. What is unique about the text of today's resolution are two items which read as follows. The penultimate whereas clause, which reads, the LGBTQ plus community continues to face discrimination that affects all intersections of the population, most currently in the form of discrimination against transgender youth in education and athletics, and calling on schools locally and nationally to affirm the right of participation of youth in our community. I think, as many of us know, this is clear and present. It's something that matters to the community in Lancaster County. If you're not aware of that particular set of news, and it's important to us to recognize, just as we recognized Juneteenth, Black History Month, Latino Heritage Month, that we recognize Pride Month and that issue in particular. Council comments.
Council President, if I may.
Please.
I just want to acknowledge that one of the things that I appreciate being a gay man here in this community is that that is a value that we hold here. And as we've seen recently with Supreme Court decisions, sexual orientation and gender identity issues are still coming to question in terms of our rights. So it's a privilege and an honor, honestly, for us to be able to stand up here and say that here in this community, sexual orientation and gender identity is something that we will not stand for, any type of discrimination. So I appreciate everyone for putting this forward.
Any comments from the public? Sammy, could you do me a favor and come to the microphone? Thank you.
I do hold pride to my orientation and everything like that, so this is appreciative. I do hope going forward that with this being recognized, that we'll start talking about putting a conversion therapy ordinance in place, because you can sit here and you can recognize Pride Day every day, every single day, but until a conversion therapy ordinance is in place, what good are you really doing for the LGBTQ community? So, thank you.
Thank you, Sammy.
Council President, if I may.
Please.
So Sammy, this is a conversation that we've been having as a city council and the city administration, and also with the LGBT Center, about what are their legal parameters to do a conversion therapy ban here in the community. But it is something that we're working towards and trying to figure out the legal system around it. But I appreciate your words.
Any other comments from the public on the resolution? Hearing none, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Arroyo.
Aye.
Ms. Craig.
Aye.
Ms. Diaz.
Aye.
Mr. Garcia Molina.
Aye.
Mr. Soto.
Aye.
And President Smith-Waddell.
Aye. Thank you all very much. Lost my agenda. There we go. All right, that brings us to our first public comment period, reserved for those persons who have contacted the city clerk before the meeting to address council. The rules are as they were before we all disappeared into our homes. Please begin with your full name and your block of residence. You do not need to give your specific address of residence, but please include the block of residence. And if it's outside the city or your municipality, please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Mr. Harris, who is our first commenter?
Vladimir Riskevich.
Council, Freddie Harris, thank you for having me. I just have a concern for the, I live on a block of West Frederick.
Thank you.
Sure thing. I just have a concern addressing it like, need help with a zoning officer. The Woodridge Farms Winery has opened up a beer garden. It's a fantastic place. But it's right across from my apartment building, and the noise from the DJs and the bands are bleeding into the windows of all the apartments and all the people who share apartments with us. Yeah, I just need a zoning officer to come out and just talk to them and just have them at least move the speakers further away from the street so it doesn't like bleed into our building. The place where they have it right now is just aesthetically pleasing, but yeah, I just need someone just to, you know, I know the city's an ecosystem, you know, like we all gotta live together, but if I could just get the speakers just pushed back farther back on the property and they can still maintain the same level of noise that they have, then that would just be cool. That's all I gotta say.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Mr. Harris, can you, where the appropriate staffer is?
Will do.
Thank you. Cool. Next, we have Mr. Tony Dasher.
Tony Dasher, 700 block of New Holland Avenue. It's actually very nice to see the equipment I'm looking at for your live streaming. Very reminds me of something similar I know of. So my comments today are related to more or less, I've mentioned before, we get to decide how government works, how we perceive government. It's nothing against any individual. I think the position of mayor shouldn't be such a solid number for pay. I think we need to start having a conversation about what metrics we can use to define what a mayor should be paid. There's concerns about gentrification in our community, and I bring that up in reference to, I think that we need to start tethering the pay of the city's chief executive to the median household income in the city. If the mayor is supposed to be representative of what the city is and how we live, I think it shouldn't be too far off from the median income. That being said, I understand that with gentrification concerns, moving a population of high wealth individuals into a city and using that in the sum total of what the middle is may push it further than what we know the individual's average experience in the city to be. So I'm not here today to say specifically what the mayor should be paid, the position of mayor. But I am here to say I think $88,883 is far too much. I think that we have chief executives in the city who do things like public works and economics and administrative work. I think we see six-figure salaries there and understand that to be part of how this works. But the mayor doesn't do all the work of the city. The mayor delegates a lot of the work to the city. I don't think that the mayor needs to have such an income so far off from the average experience of a Lancastrian. It doesn't seem reasonable, and I think the fact that we've opened up a conversation about giving the mayor a raise, I think that goes to say, like, this isn't a performance review. This is about what we think is right in governing. So declining to give a mayor 1.5% raise isn't about your work and what you've done. It's about, should the mayor, is the pay right now too far out of line what is reasonable, and I think it is. Those are my comments for the day. I think we need to have a conversation about cutting the mayor's pay, not based off any performance, but so that we can do better work as a community and expect a better representation from our government. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Tony. Nelly Torres. Also, is the mic on? Does that amplification happen?
It sounds like it's not.
Okay.
So I'm pulling audio from the camera.
Is it picking up?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Please proceed, Ms. Torres.
Okay. Nellie Torres, 700 block of Rockland Street. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, the general public, city council, and officers. I wish to state that on record that there was an encounter with City Council President Smith Waddell and I at TELUS 360. I will not go into any details, but ask that you formally, that City Council members and officers be mindful, and conduct themselves in a manner that is respectful and upholds the basic principles their positions call for. When I approached Councilor Smith-Waddell, I asked if we could have a conversation, and Smith-Waddell agreed. When he agreed to have the conversation, he is putting on his city council and city council president hat on and meeting with a constituent. The current issues manifested from the June 1st city council meeting. I want to be very clear that we, the constituents, the residents, need to trust and have the right to come to you with our concerns. We have the right to speak here at these meetings and other spaces such as social media about our experiences and concerns. And do this without concerns of retaliations or form of intimidation. From you, from the clique, from friends of yours. The source of my issue is not with Councilor Smith-Waddell. He is part of the issue, an enabler to the issue, to the clique. So in closing, please note that my concerns are serious and genuine and are not personal. These are my expectations of any elected official. I ask that you consider that you never know who it is that you're speaking to. You don't know what it took for someone to speak up and speak from their heart. You don't know what triggers people have and what they're dealing with when they come and speak to you, regardless of anyone's identity. So it is best and expected that that part of your role and responsibility is to listen and respect all people. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Ms. Torres. Do we have any other comments, Mr. Harris?
We do not, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Requested by council. Do we have any, Mr. Harris?
We do not, Mr. President.
All right, that brings us to heading 8, interim reports of committees of council. Do we have any, Mr. Harris?
We do not, Mr. President.
All right, that brings us to our legislative agenda. Ordinances for final passage. I'm so sorry, all. I've really gotten a phone that is smarter than I am, which is not saying that much. But ordinances for final passage, Administration Bill number 15, 2021. Mr. Harris.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Lancaster, amending the City of Lancaster Tattoos and Body Piercing Ordinance, codified in Chapter 269 of the Code of the City of Lancaster, to allow for Pennsylvania state licensed barbers, cosmetologists, and estheticians to perform scalp micropigmentation, providing for the severability of the ordinance, providing for the repeal of inconsistent ordinances, and providing that the ordinance shall take effect in accordance with the laws of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Councilor Arroyo.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance, as Mr. Harris has read, amends our current tattoo ordinance to include scalp micropigmentation and a clear updated process for practitioners who wish to offer the service in our city. Mr. Delphs, I'm not sure if there's anything to add to that or you.
I don't have anything to add at the moment. Our Senior Health Officer, Kim Whistler, has spoken to this, I think, both at the last council meeting and at council committee. If you have any questions related to the bill, this is not my area of specialty, but I'm happy to try to answer any questions that you might have.
Any council comments? I feel good about it. Thank you, Mr. Delphs.
Thank you.
Are there any questions from the public? Hearing none, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Royo.
Aye.
Ms. Ms. Craig.
Aye.
Ms. Diaz.
Aye.
Mr. Garcia Molina.
Aye.
Mr. Soto. Aye. And President Smith-Waddell.
Aye. Thank you, Mr. Harris. That brings us to our second public comment period, which is open for comment about issues not addressed on the agenda. The rules remain the same. The microphone is there.
No, you come down here.
Who do you want?
So, Tony Dash with 700 block of New Holland Avenue. I think it goes without saying to the people in the room, your two candidates for mayor here, as well as many candidates for city council.
Tony, I'm going to pause your time and just remind you to stray wide of campaigning in a council meeting. Not that I'm saying that you were, I just want to make sure that we... Yep, please continue.
Fair enough. I just mentioned these things because the news hasn't, or LNP rather. I think it's important to take note of the use of the word click. And I think that the public as a whole should pay attention to, look, I don't think that the Democratic Party has anything to maliciously attack the city or is purposely trying to do damage to the city. I do think that there are concerns about being a one-party city and the cliques and how private conversations can influence big decisions. We need to take notice of, as this political patronage, as I've been saying in council meeting after council meeting, this is part of why when we have positions that are high paid, maybe we need to consider how we select or how we determine pay for those positions as well. Because when private conversations can influence, for example, an endorsement, and there's concerns about endorsement procedures. I'm not a member of the Democratic Party, obviously, Gold Goose Party. But I think we need to start taking note of these things, because the last time I heard the word clique used in such a toxic dynamic, I was in high school, and there's definitely, you as a council should be concerned that clique is coming up and that the public does believe that there are private conversations happening influencing decision-making procedures. I don't have the solution for these things, but I do think a way out is to begin to diversify how we entertain voices and thoughts. I think one of my concerns, to tie it to just one of my biggest frustrations going on right now, we need to meet people where they're at their door. We need to talk to people about projects going on in the city. We need to give people that we don't necessarily expect to include in conversations the information they need about Willow Valley Project. I've heard enough people concerned about conversations happening over dinner, and I don't think that that comes from a malicious place. It's about how do we do business? Is that really how we want to be known for doing business? Having conversations over dinner? Or do we want to be the city known for including everybody in the procedure, everybody in the process? And it might take a long time, but we'll have a good product when we're done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Or at least so like that it's not echoing into the cameras and so forth, like something that buzzes you instead of the music.
Thank you, Councilor Diaz. I'll work on it.
Thank you.
Any other public comments? Hearing none, we move to the report of the mayor.
Good evening. Thank you, Council President. Well, this week is officially summer, and I am acutely aware of this being a new moment for all of us coming together, and it's really good to see everybody at the dais and to have all of our guests here in City Hall again. So welcome, everyone. Tonight marks the first night since we are meeting in person since March 2020, and it also marks the second night of Mayor's Neighborhood Week. And so speaking to you, Mr. Dastra, we are meeting people in the neighborhoods. And tonight we were in Culleton Park, last night we were in Musser, tomorrow night we're in Milburn Park, and Thursday night we'll cap it off at Buchanan Park. And each day, as part of Mayor's Neighborhood Week, we are walking the streets in our neighborhoods, noting areas that need attention, and looking at the ways in which we are making decisions about investment around housing, streets, safety, trash, and more. And we're having some wonderful conversations and solving problems at folks' doors, whether they have to do with their water bill or a neighbor or a porch roof or trash or a storm drain that's not working, or a question about combined sewer overflows, and I could go on and on and on, but these are just a few of the topics that we've covered over the last 2 days. So these neighborhood meetings are from 4 to 6 in each quadrant. Each afternoon we're out and about. We got a little rain today. But city staff from each department are present with information to share, including information about all of the major initiatives that are happening in the city of Lancaster as part of Engage Lancaster. And that platform includes a lot of information. And if you would like to be part of shaping the future of the city, please check out our comprehensive plan and take our survey, which we just launched. LaRock, do you want to say anything about the survey? I know I'm putting you on the spot. But as a key partner in our comp plan effort. So do you want to just introduce yourself and your role and talk a little bit about what you've been up to?
Thank you very much. My name is LaRock Hudson. I'm the Equity, Diversion, and Inclusion Fellow that was hired through...
The mic is off, and so if you could just speak louder. Sorry,
Okay,
Councilor
speak
Diaz.
louder, please.
We weren't ready to restart until August in person, so we have some additional technical work to complete in here. So please, sorry.
My name is LaRock Hudson. I am the Equity, Diversion, and Inclusion Fellow that was hired through USDN to be part of the comprehensive planning process and to work on the strategic community engagement process.
And so LaRock and Emma and other members of the team are out tabling and engaging residents to get their feedback related to what our vision is for the city over the next 10 years. And I really encourage you all to take the survey that we just launched on Monday. Thanks, LaRock. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
So, let's see. This week will culminate in Celebrate Lancaster, our annual summer celebration. This year, thanks to our team and neighborhood engagement, activities will be out in the neighborhoods and also in downtown. We are going to have a lot of music, a lot of things that are happening around our city, ending with fireworks that will be held at Jackson Middle School on South Ann Street and also in Buchanan Park. So it is a welcome breath of fresh air to see and talk to people in person, to see neighbors that we haven't seen in over a year, and just to connect again as a community. And I'm really excited about this summer, which really feels like a miracle to me because we are seeing the rates of deaths dropping so precipitously across the country. And I feel very grateful to be an American and a U.S. citizen who has access. To that end, I just want to encourage everybody, if you have questions, you can come out and speak to a doctor who is there. LGH and Penn Medicine is also tabling at each one of these events. We are providing referrals for COVID vaccinations, and this weekend there will be a vaccination clinic at McCaskey from 8 to 5, both Saturday and Sunday, and trying to do all that we can to reach every corner of our neighborhoods to get the word out about COVID. So 3 more quick things, if you will indulge me. Yesterday, announced that John Bay has been selected as our permanent chief of police. We'll be bringing forward a resolution for council adoption in July. He joined us in December, has really poured himself into the role of chief. He's built momentum in the critical work of rebuilding trust between the police and the community they serve. And so I hope you'll all join me in welcoming him. And tonight, earlier, I was pleased to show council some of the renovations that have happened on the first floor of City Hall that will both provide better customer service with a one-stop shop at City Hall and comply with recommendations related to both COVID and the Department of Homeland Security related to public buildings and the safety of residents and our staff. And then finally tonight, in honor of the resolution that was unanimously passed, acknowledging that this month is Pride Month, we will raise a pride flag out front in celebration and an acknowledgement of the work that is to be left to be done. The flag represents Lancaster's commitment to be a welcoming city for all of our residents and neighbors, no matter how you identify or who you might love. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no report other than to say that while we're on this subject, this council passed a resolution unanimously encouraging our elected officials to take action on what was then H.R. 5, the Equality Act. And I would encourage you all to do the same. We deserve the same access to businesses that serve the public as everyone else does, be we lesbian, queer, gay, bisexual, transgender. We deserve that, and I know this council is proud to do that, and so that we are hoping that you will join us in asserting to our senator, Mr. Toomey, that this is something that the United States Senate needs to take up and pass to make equality truly the law of the land. I have no other report. Council comments.
If I may, President?
Please.
I found it a little bit disturbing listening to the words that Mrs. Torres, if that's correct. And I just want to say that as leaders, we need to model behavior that we want to uphold in the community. It is our priority to engage our community with respect and integrity. We should not lose sight of what our core values are as government official, and it really angers me that something transpired that may have been probably something that we could have resolved by just a simple conversation. I have seen leaders lose their trust and respect for our community when others have overstepped their boundaries, not only their value statements, but when they have failed to display trust, honesty, and transparency. We should not be using our titles or any type of behavior of intimidation or using others to intimidate. It is extremely profound for us to engage our community with respect. I'm very simple-minded, and people do trust me, and I hope that everyone else can trust our council members and be able to come and speak to them, whether it's in our chambers or outside, without having to fear them in any way. That's all I have to say, Council.
Thank you, Councilor Diaz. Any other council comments? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.